A week after the truth detonated like a slow-burning fuse finally reaching its end, they arrived at my doorstep, faces flushed with fury, eyes sharpened to slits, mouths drawn tight with barely restrained outrage. But their anger came too late. Much too late. I opened the door just enough to let the cold air slip through, leaned casually against a frame, and met my wife's sister's glare with the calm of a man who had been waiting. Because I had. Her boyfriend stood just behind her, silent and unsure, clinging to her presence like a dog too loyal to sense the trap ahead. In that moment, I thought, this is how it ends when secrets rot from the inside out, when they swell and bloat until they burst, spilling truth like blood across clean tile. But the beginning? It was so much smaller. So stupidly ordinary. A plate of mashed potatoes. A simple sentence that felt like a dagger slipping between my ribs. "We're keeping Thanksgiving low-key this year," she'd said, voice soft, eyes tethered to her phone screen. I stood at the kitchen sink, scrubbing the grime of 16 brutal hours at the auto shop off my hands. My muscles screamed. My shirt clung to me with a stink of oil, grease, and honest labor. Work that broke the body, but not the soul. "Just family?" I asked, keeping my tone even. She hesitated, barely a heartbeat, but it was enough. I saw it all in that flicker. Hesitation, guilt, calculation. "My sister's bringing her new boyfriend," she added. "It's his first time meeting everyone. She thinks your job might make things uncomfortable." Uncomfortable? Like I was the stain on her otherwise spotless presentation. I held her gaze a second too long, then nodded. "Understood," I said. That was the last lie I ever told her. 7 years of marriage, and I had once loved her like a man on fire. Wild, foolish, and all-consuming. She had loved me too, back when I was just a grease-covered mechanic who fixed her car for free and only asked for her laugh in return. I worked double shifts to help pay off her student loans, every callus on my palm a symbol of my commitment. She used to trace the roughness of my hands and smile, telling me I was building something real. But somewhere along the way, real became too raw, too coarse. Real became less shiny than the life she wanted. Still, I played my part. Kissed her on the forehead that Thanksgiving morning, wished her a safe trip, and let her walk out the door thinking I was too embarrassed to join her, too blue-collar for her polished new world. But I didn't go to the shop that day. I had other work to do. Weeks earlier, I had seen the post, her sister's blurry photo on social media. Just a teasing shot of her hand resting on a man's shoulder, captioned, "Big things coming." His face wasn't visible, but something about him stabbed at my memory. Then I saw it, the watch. A rare, custom timepiece that screamed wealth and vanity. I'd seen it before, years ago, flashing beneath cuffed sleeves across a polished boardroom table. Every Tuesday, to be exact. Back when I was still naive enough to think loyalty mattered. I was still part of that world once, the one filled with polished shoes, hush meetings, and boardroom smirks, before I traded tailored suits for worn denim, silence for the hum of engines, and the honest grind of tools in my hands. Back then, I moved among men who shook hands with smiles and stabbed backs with signatures. I knew the man in that photo. Not just by his face, but by the arrogance that clung to him like cologne. He wasn't just a businessman, he was a thief wrapped in a tailored lie. 3 years earlier, when I was head of risk management at Crestwood Financial, I uncovered the truth. He was skimming client funds, small, precise amounts that slipped through unnoticed, carefully masked by layers of digital smoke and mirrors. Smart enough to plan it, stupid enough to think I wouldn't notice. I gathered my evidence, airtight and thorough, and handed it to the board. They didn't fire him. They didn't even flinch. Instead, they offered me a severance package and a non-disclosure agreement, called it a mutual exit, as if telling the truth had been my crime. They didn't want justice. They wanted silence. He brought them profits. I brought them problems. I didn't argue. I took the money and left, not because I was afraid, but because I don't waste breath on buildings already burning. I walk away and let the fire finish what it started. So when I saw that same watch in my sister-in-law's photo, rare, custom-made, ticking like a relic from the life I left behind. It all came flooding back. The boardroom, the betrayal, the illusion of loyalty. And then I heard my wife parrot her sister's lie that my job, my honest job, might make someone like him uncomfortable, and the last piece clicked into place. They didn't just lie to me. They dismissed me, belittled me, thought I'd rolled over, gone soft, forgotten who I was. But I hadn't. In the weeks leading up to Thanksgiving, while they made plans and polished silverware, I went to work in silence. I still had files, copies, backups, receipts. I'm not careless. I knew those records might matter one day. And now they did. I dug through my old folders like a surgeon with a scalpel, cutting away the years until I had everything I needed. Dated, yes, but damning. Then I ran a quiet background check. Turns out the boyfriend had changed his name, changed his paper trail, but not his habits. The same face, the same schemes, a different firm, but the same kind of blood money dripping from his fingers. I assembled a dossier. Clean, detailed, thorough. I sent it to 3 places: his current company's ethics board, the district attorney's fraud unit, and, because I knew exactly how deep a wound it would cut, her parents. Her father, a retired colonel who had once told me over whiskey that truth is a man's backbone, would read every line with the kind of disgust that doesn't fade. I didn't sign it. My name appeared nowhere. I just waited. Thanksgiving passed without fanfare. I spent it in my garage, rebuilding a '67 Mustang, chrome steady beneath my hands, heart even steadier in my chest. 7 days later, they came knocking. My wife's sister stood at the door first, eyes wild, voice shrill. Behind her, the boyfriend's swagger had crumbled, replaced by the wide-eyed panic of a man who finally realizes he's been cornered. "He's under investigation," she shouted, waving a crumpled letter like a white flag dipped in fire. "You think you can just ruin his life?" I didn't answer. I didn't need to. My wife stepped forward, her face pale, eyes scanning me like she was trying to remember the man she married, the one she'd once said smelled like hard work and loyalty. "Was this you?" she whispered. I met her gaze, without flinching. "He was stealing millions," I said flatly. "Still is. You didn't recognize him, because he changed his name." I did. Her sister shoved the letter at me. My words, printed out and underlined in red ink, the breakdown of his crimes laid bare. I imagine her father reading it line by line, jaw tightening with every paragraph. Integrity doesn't need a signature. I turned to my wife. "You are ashamed of me for fixing cars," I said quietly. "But you welcomed a criminal into your family without blinking." Her voice cracked, soft and broken. "You could have told me." "I did," I said. "In my way. You just didn't want to hear it." The boyfriend stepped toward me, fists clenched, but I didn't move. I didn't even blink. Her sister grabbed his arm, held him back, finally seeing the man she thought she loved for what he really was, a fraud with expensive shoes and nothing beneath them. He stormed off, muttering curses, dragging his shredded pride behind him. She followed, still yelling, still clawing at the illusion as it fell apart around her. Only my wife remained. She looked at me, her voice barely more than a breath. "What's next for us?" I didn't speak right away. I walked to the counter, picked up the manila envelope I'd prepared days ago, and handed it to her. Inside was a draft separation agreement. Simple, clean, not cruel. No lawyers. Not yet. "You chose a polished lie over a messy truth," I said. "Now you know what both really look like." She cried then. Deep, quiet tears. But I felt no urge to reach for her. There's no comfort in watching someone break beneath the weight of their own choices, just a kind of hollow stillness. I don't wear suits anymore. No cufflinks, no corner office. I wear grease and grit and pride. My shop is thriving, booked months in advance. Turns out honesty travels faster than lies when it's passed from one satisfied client to another. Every Thanksgiving since, I set an extra plate at my table. Not for her. Not for anyone lost. I set it for the truth I took back. Because no matter how fast a lie runs, the truth always waits. Patient. unmoving, unbreakable.